Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by telling you about a conversation I had with my brother, Felipe. Felipe is a junior at George Washington University, and he's seen firsthand how sports betting has become part of everyday life for young men. I asked him, how popular would you say gambling is among your friends? Without hesitation, he said, oh, it's huge. Everyone is betting. It's hard not to. There are always ads on TV, in stadiums, and so many easy ways to bet. Then I asked, do you think young men are being deceived into what gambling really is? Felipe didn't even have to think about it. Absolutely, he said. They get all these celebrities like Kevin Hart, LeBron James, Charles Barkley to make gambling seem fun and harmless. It's hard to watch sports without feeling like you should be placing a bet. And that's exactly the problem. There's this psychological term called the mere exposure effect. This principle that repeated exposure increases familiarity and trust is working overtime in the sports betting world. Every commercial break, every stadium banner, every celebrity endorsement is conditioning us to see gambling as normal and even necessary. But how did we get here? In 2018, the Supreme Court struck down the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, the PASPA, which had previously banned sports betting in most states. States like New Jersey led the charge, with key players like Governor Chris Christie, Governor Phil Murphy, and Senator Ray Lesniak pushing the idea that legalized sports betting would bring in tax revenue and support the local economy. And they technically were right. Sports betting has generated billions in revenue, but at what cost? The study from the University of California, San Diego, followed 700,000 gamblers and found that 96% of them were losing money. 96%. Worse, the study showed that lower-income consumers were most affected, with 43% of gamblers spending more than 1% of their income on bets. And the impact is particularly severe on young men. A study from Fairleigh Dickinson University found that 10% of young men in the U.S. show signs of gambling addiction, more than triple the national average. The constant ads, the ease of access, the celebrities telling you it's all just harmless fun. It's not harmless when it leads to addiction, financial ruin, and mental health struggles. And yet, sports leagues and the government knew exactly what they were doing. Before 2018, major sports leagues like the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB all publicly opposed sports betting, claiming it would threaten the integrity of the game. But once they saw the financial upside, they flipped. Partnering with sportsbooks, accepting gambling sponsorships, and even incorporating live betting odds into broadcasts. Suddenly, the same thing they once claimed would destroy the game became a fan engagement tool. The problem is that sports betting companies aren't selling a product. They're selling a behavior. They're not offering you a fun activity. They're engineering an addiction. And the mere exposure effect is how they do it. If you see betting odds enough times, if you hear your athlete or celebrity telling you to just make a quick bet, it stops feeling risky and it starts feeling normal. And once you're in, the algorithm keeps you there, feeding you targeted ads, giving you free bets, and using loss-chasing psychology to keep you coming back. This isn't just an American problem either. Look at the UK, where sports betting has been legal for decades. Research there shows that sports betting companies rely on gamblers for the bulk of their profits. A 2021 study from the University of Liverpool found that the top 5% of bettors accounted for over 60% of all betting revenue. The business model depends on addiction. And this brings me to Hamlet. Hamlet's downfall wasn't entirely his fault. His behavior was a product of a corrupt system, his uncle Claudius seizing the throne through murder and manipulation. Hamlet's loss of control, his spiral into madness, all of it stems from a broken system that robbed him of stability and justice. In the same way, sports betting companies have engineered a corrupt system that preys on the most vulnerable, especially young men, and then act like the consequences are the gambler's fault. But it's not. Just like Hamlet was a victim of his circumstances, young gamblers today are a victim of a system that is designed to exploit them. So what do we do about it? I'm not saying gambling should be outlawed, but it needs to be heavily regulated. We need limits on advertising, stronger consumer protections, and greater public awareness of the real risks involved. We need to stop treating sports betting as a harmless extension of fandom and call it what it really is, a business model built on addiction and loss. Hamlet lost control because he was trapped in a corrupt system. If we don't take action now, young men today will face the same fate. Let's stop normalizing gambling and start protecting those at risk. Thank you.